Welcome if you're joining me. If any ideas about future videos, feel free to leave a comment. Let me know what you'd like to see. If you just want to say hey, well, hey. Let me know what you'd like to say. Or if you just want to come in here and chill and watch some sharpening, maybe pick up some technique, maybe offer some insight, you can do that too. You can do that too. But while you're here, I want to thank you for being here. You tap that like button, keep that begging down. You know what I'm saying? Keep that begging down. It's like being interrupted by commercial breaks that aren't commercials. You know what I'm saying? But in a little bit, we will be underway. Appreciate your patience. But, just kind of got to get yourself set up. It's these kinds of things. Just how it goes. Meanwhile, you can pop in, you can say hey, you can talk about yourself. You can ask me questions. I get it though. Not wanting to sit in and ask questions. Sometimes you just want to sit and chill with your phone, see what that dude's doing over there. I get that too. In just a little bit, that dude's gonna be up to some sharpening. And I think we are gonna have to give a serious sharpen to another one of our planes. But we're definitely gonna have to get into our everyday carry pocket knives. They are essential to my life as a contractor and just a kind of chiller. What's up, Simpane Poppy? That's what's up. Nothing wrong with being an observer. In fact, everything's right about being an observer. Hey Wes, have you tried sharpening on a belt sander? Absolutely. It is conditional, however. I have, and I probably will do some sharpening on a belt sander today, but it's not ideal. There are a couple things that make it ideal when it's ideal, and one of those things is that, say your blade is very chipped up. I've got a video on my shorts of my machete, right? I think I got it back here. You don't really need to see it. I'll go real fast. Okay, so the blade in this is flat and true, square 90 degrees, right? On something as aggressive as a belt sander, unless you're intentionally knocking metal off, trying to take that blade just down such a small bit, and you're very sure-handed and all that stuff, or you build a rig that just lowers it very carefully and flat, you can do it. And there are tools for that, for sure. However, it chews a lot of metal off. And the method that I'm going to show you today is a cheap method. And it's very simple. But if I need, like for instance, one of these planes that I had, the actual the actual blade itself had big chips. See that little shiny part we got right there? It had big chips in that. And those chips have to come out. If they don't, you'll always have a little ribbon in your shavings and it just won't ever give you a nice, smooth, flat surface. So with a belt sander, that's a good, quick way to just grind that down just a hair. Um, but then you need to take it to a flat stone or something of the sort so that you can get it not only sharp but smooth. Like, because you can drag it over a knife over a brick and it'll be sharp enough to cut you. What it won't be is sharp enough to slice. And mostly what we're talking about when we're talking about blades and woodworking is the ability to slice. Um, cut in carpentry terms does mean just hammering through with a multi-tooth bit that's just cut, right? Cut with hand tools is about a nice, clean, unobstructed slice. That's how you know that you're getting something accomplished with that. So it's almost too rough a tool to just use for that and leave the finish as that. But there are people that do it, and they may just be better and have more information than I do. Um, but that's the application in which I've seen it most effective. Um, and I'll be honest, until I started actually sharpening my own planes, once you get a plane, you have to learn how to sharpen it, right? Or you'll use it once and then you'll hate it after that. And most of them don't come sharp enough to actually work with. Some do, but most don't. Especially if you're buying them used or you're buying them cheap, they're definitely not. Spent hours trying to flatten the chips off of blades. Now, what also works is, I did this on a live too, is files. You can use files and you can just rake over the top. You just have to be very careful. Make sure you draw a nice clean line across the top before you do. I'm going to see if I'll check my planes and see if I see one that's got that particular issue. And if it does, then we'll go through the process. That one kind of had a little bit of a chip in it. We'll see. We'll see. Be right back. If anybody has any other questions, put them in the comment section. Because as you can see, I'll talk about it. That's the sound of my files. That's the sound of my chisels hitting the table. And we'll bring the belt sander just in case. Just in case. Put it just off camera. And if we need it, we got it. And we got our sharpener set up over here as well. I think now you can go back to the celebratory station. Let's try it this way. One quick second while we continue to get our lives together. All right. I really hope your channel goes big time. You have a fantastic video and a great way of mixing information and humor, says Survivor Zig. Oh man, I appreciate that, man. Quick joke, why are carpenters very superstitious, says CP. They're always knocking on wood. That's right. All your dead jokes are welcome here, Fred. Good joke. We know you love your coffee. What's your brand? Oh man. Right now I'm on the Cafe Bustelo. I got hooked on Black Rifle recently. Oh yeah. Where's that from? I do enjoy the Cafe Bustelo though. But I like a couple brands. Like when I see, this is probably, I probably shouldn't say this, right? But when I see certain coffees, if they package them just right, they'll trick me right into getting them. And I'll try them. And if I like it, you know, if it stand out good, my wife and I will confer. And then we'll get some more. You know, there was a coffee like way back. Oh, hey, KO Knives. Yeah, we getting ready to get into some sharpening fun, that's for sure. Hey, and good to have you here. Listen, KO Knives, I am learning sharpening and I'm learning it with you guys. And as I get information and learn stuff, I share it with you all. So that I'm less intimidated and you guys are less intimidated by the process and we can all figure out how to learn something, right? So, KO though, however, Knives is an expert. He's a guy who's got more information than me. I always like to acknowledge that when experts are in the room because we all get better. Now, I did use this thing, and in the field, this is okay. As I begin to learn more and more about sharpening, what's sharp for me has evolved. And a lot of, like me, like most carpenters, define sharp as can it cut something, can it cut a rope, can it cut, you know, something loose, basically, open a package, whatever. What up, NYC checking in sharp? What up, Sam? So, because my definition of sharp has changed, this isn't quite getting me to what I would define as sharp for a woodworker. In that event, see what I'm saying? In that event, I'm now going to go to the processes that I use for sharpening my planes because they get great. However, there's no honing guide for these, so you got to kind of figure it out. Now, you can sort of feel the angle though when you get to sharpening. Cafe Bustelo is one of my favorite long time, but the JB Just Black from Black Rifle is one of the best I've had. Veteran owned, if that matters to you. Yeah, that's what's up, man. I'm gonna come back and check that out. Black Rifle. In fact, one of my new things that I'm trying to do is write stuff down more often, right? Ideas and whatnot. I keep a lot of information in my brain, and I like that my brain can do that. But it drops the ball a lot too. So, let me see. Black Rifle coffee. Watch me get some. What's up, Sam? Sam Gordon, how you doing? How you doing? I'm gonna get my light a little bit closer so y'all can see a little bit better. And we'll get that happening. I need to dust this real quick. Dust isn't good for this. Like my technique. Alright, so this has already been soaking for quite a while. If it needs to get touched up, we'll touch it up. But for now, let's get to it. Isn't that how your dad does things? With a mouthful of food and a cup in one hand. Sometimes a can. There's different kind of dads out there. I'm a cup dad. You have a can dad or a cup dad on Sundays? Tell you what, until you're very intentional about drinking water, you just don't get it. Okay. So, what's KO? KO, would you suggest, once we find the bevel, you go like this, and then like this? Or do you do the swirly thing? Do you do the swirly thing? Let's hear some info. He's the one who taught me almost everything I know about sharpening. Who's that? Mr. says one straight stroke, one direction. Ooh, looks like it's working. And a little bit of hydrogen, oxygen. I mixed this formula myself. This is very delicately balanced. And this is also 400 grit, by the way, if you're interested in that specification. I'm going to find our angle again. Same thing. Nice smooth strokes. Nice smooth strokes. And you may have to take the time to find that angle at first. each time. Do it. There's a robotic sensibility to it once you get going, that you can repeat the motion over and over after you get the motion right. Something about doing it right that seems to work pretty good. I agree with that. The swirly thing causes deviance in your edge angle. See what I'm saying? We got these people in here that know their business so that we can learn it right. Tell you what, the enemy of collaboration is competition. And collaboration, think about it. If you're over there learning it this way, I'm over here learning it that way. We're neither of us is learning is after the best way. We're both after the most profitable way. But you take that out of it. Collaboration, everybody profits, everybody makes money, everybody gets an understanding. Then the focus can go to the best thing for the consumer. And then, once that happens, then everybody gets the best thing. All the water heaters are 30 year. You know what I'm saying? All the cars run like Toyotas. You know what I'm saying? This is what we're after. Okay, I jumped right back on that doggone high horse again. Daggone it. Did I take the time to eat my food, the herbal? I did. It was delish. It was delish. Such a blessing to have a good partner. I promise you it is. I'm sorry, y'all. I switched up to the 1000 grit side from the 400 grit side. And we are doing the same thing. Now again, these stones have been soaking for quite a while, so there's not a lot of concern about the stone getting dry. But we do like that water bead on top. You see that reflection? Because that carries away all of the little bits that we're scraping off of this knife. That's what sharpening a knife is straightening an edge and scratching off anything that's deviant in that edge. And that water helps drag it away. Now this is my little Gerber. I got this in a twofer with that Gerber. This is significantly smaller. This is a little knife for reference, right? But it's a good little knife, and I lost them both. That's why I buy cheap knives, because I lose them. But I saw these, and I had a great deal on them at the time, and I bought them both for like less than $30. And I enjoyed them until I lost them, and now I found them, and I'm back in love again. But while they were missing, I bought this thing. I don't love it. I don't like the detent, I don't know, the little ball inside of that little lever. But it grabs weird, and then it slams shut weird, and then the clip fell. Gordon is the brand of that thing. It's the Harbor Freight brand, which I don't beef with Harbor Freight at all. I enjoy very much a lot of their discounted tools. Because when I'm starting out with something, I do not want to spend a bunch of money on it. I really don't. Because I'm in an experimental stage most times in the beginning phases of a new tool. If I know darn well what I want, and I know what it needs to be, and quality is the thing, and efficiency is the same, then I will definitely spend that money. But I found that many Harbor Freight tools are just as good. As we switch to the 3000 grit. 3000 grit, ladies and gentlemen. 3000 grit. Keeping that angle. Oh, look at it. You can just kind of feel it after a while, right? And as I go, I'm doing slow motion this time. As I go towards that edge, turns, still holding that edge, back here is where that happens. And this is a downward motion, just keeping my angle right off the plate, or stone, I should say. Right? Now this I struggled with in the beginning of knife sharpening. I didn't know quite what to do. Sharpening is a skill everyone should learn. Once you have it down, you find it extremely satisfying, says Survivor Zed. And you are absolutely right, Survivor Zed. You're absolutely right. Yep, I learned from everybody but YouTube. My best teacher's been Outdoor 55, Neve's Knives, and Erica's EDC. It's interesting. I'm glad those are up in the chat, everyone, if you want to write that down. I'm going to be able to come back and see it. Don't know if y'all can or not. So maybe go check it out now or write it down now. Put it in your browser for later. Alright, here we are. Now, interesting thing about KO knives. Don't let the fear of losing them stop you from buying expensive. You tend to look after better. Consider Kaiser, unbelievable reputation, and a good budget line. See what I mean by having somebody in here smarter than me? Agreed, Kaiser and Civivi. I am so interested in those Civivi knives. I really am. I'm also kind of a practical guy, and I got a lot of junk already, right? I've got so much stuff. At least knives don't take up a bunch of space. But if I have something, I already have it, and it works good, I try to draw a line there for obvious reasons. I'll run out of space, and then I got to build another thing on the wall to hold more things. We're on 3000 grit, and I'm going to touch it up with a little more agua. That's Spanish water from the Gulf of America. All right, right here. Now, what's different about sharpening these knives versus dealing with, say, this is also an alternative way to do this. The planes are flat on one side, so you don't really have, the same dynamic. And you can just put in a honing tool and you can push it perfect every single time. This you have to be a little bit more careful. Nothing is too many knives, such as too many knives, says Ivan. You might be right. James Ramey says, I've been sharpening for decades and I still have decades more to learn about sharpening, honing, and stropping. You're so right. But that's why we're here, to get the good techniques down. And sometimes I feel like it's good to see somebody do it. Like there's, everybody's got a 2-minute video on how to do it. But this way we get to be interactive. We get to talk about it. We get to say, hey, why are you doing it like that? And I get to say, hey, how would you suggest doing it? That was me drying it off. We're moving from the 3000 to the 8000 grit, and that should be my final for what I would need or expect to call sharp. And here we go again. Same thing, nothing changed. Ain't nothing changed but the name on the mail. It might be like 98 TIP. I have a tip story. Rex Kruger did a video teaching his daughter from scratch. Strongly advise it for everyone, says Ivan. Ivan, you're absolutely right. I haven't seen his teach the daughter from scratch. Um, but I'll check it out. Rex is one of my favorites. If you have not subscribed to Rex Kruger, you are really missing out. He's got a great teaching style that I find very refreshing. Kale says, I know some people who use oil. I have no clue what though. I'm not into collecting a million different lives, says Mister. When I find a really good design, I want to buy a lifetime supply of them. I'm trying to tell you, that is exactly how I go. Here's the thing though, it's like the convenience. Like I'll do some interneting, right? Here's the other Gerber. In fact, I guess we gotta check it for sharp, because that's what we do. But before we do, we've learned this too. Hey. Strap. Check the strap. Okay, I'm looking for my, yeah, this thing. Put some wax on the strap here. Oh my goodness, it's pulling it off, ain't it? Okay. Alright. This is also stropping is quite satisfying. Rex or wood by right. Yeah, they're kind of like if you get one, the other's going to show up in your stream, that's for sure. But those guys are so good. It's funny, there's been two videos that not long after I did a short, Rex did very similar videos. And it really made me excited that I might be on to something, that my ideas aren't stupid. I'm sure I'm not the first of these ideas, but they felt like original ideas to me. I hadn't seen them until I had done them. But then he did them, and I thought, okay, these are decent ideas in the game. And again, this is not me at all saying Rex Kruger's watching my dumb channel and stealing ideas. But it does say my content, if I'm even syncing up slightly with somebody doing that good of work in this field, then maybe I got some good ideas. Maybe I'm on the right track a little bit. Let's see what we can sharpen with this. Let's see what we can cut. I should have said. We'll try with, okay, cutting pine. But we're not going to be doing that with this knife. Let's see about some paper. Also, I didn't do as much hardcore work on any of this. I don't think I needed to. But we'll see that in a second. All right. I think I've got paper. Let's see if it'll cut it. No. Barely. expect a sharp knife to cut better than that, so we're not done. So when that happens, we go back. Because if it's done properly with the low grit, it still should cut the paper, but it'll cut it a little bit rackety. You can feel the drag. But you start back because there's no use in trying to refine. We got to get back to a nice, strong, clean bevel. I'm going to spend a little bit more time over here getting it back to what we want it to be. Oil is really good, and if you got diamond stones, it's really good. I really enjoy. I just got the cheapest, probably, diamond plates that there are in the world, and it's very enjoyable. But because it's oil and it's not as quite as much stuff to do to keep the water off of things, but what I did not enjoy was that quality of that plating. It just didn't, it felt like it was moving a little bit too much for me. And I need things to be flat. These stones, I can get flat even when they get out of flat. It's very easy to get them back flat because they come with a stone that flattens the whole top. We're going to give a couple more runs over here. I'm going to get this aggregate, or whatever you would like to call it, off the top of the stone. We're going to hit it again. Again, this is a 400 grit. And for what contractor generally would need in his day-to-day, that's enough. That would get me sharp enough to be able to cut what I need to get through my day as a contractor, right? Let me try this way. But in the wood shop, it's a different world. You know what I'm saying? I have a Kershaw leaks because I get them cheap and they're American made. Oh, a sharpening session says just another viewer. For sure. Without a doubt, actually explains something, Ivan Reader. I was streaming 6 hours this morning and I was sharpening for 2 of them. Says KO9s. Oh my goodness. Oh hi, says Sam Jefferson. What it is? People say Sam Jackson all the time, an accident, don't they? Is it just the, you see that little bug almost got me? I smashed my hand on my, all right. Couple last good runs on that. Let me try it this way, see if that works. I think I like this better for me. It's easy enough to switch these sides, you know what I'm saying? Let's flip over to the 1000 grit again. Now, you can see the discoloration of the liquid there. That slurry. So that's letting us know We're getting some effectiveness, and we killed that bug that was flying around. I'm sorry you had to witness it. We're now back on 1,000 grit. Sorry y'all have to look at my ugly hands. And every now and then we'll see that little bitty, that little piece right there. That is our, this little barb left over from our sharpening. That means we are doing it right. Doing it right. You ever try it left-handed? We're going to train ourselves to be ambidextrous while we're at it. So when you get some time and you're ready, I have a video for you to write down. This video alone helped get my knives sharper. I have time. Is it going to involve buying stuff? I hate buying new stuff. I'm a cheap, old, grumpy dude now in my life. So I only, like, I think I was born the wrong time because I should have been born when there were still Kmart's around while I was an adult. So back when you could buy shoes at the grocery store. That's how cheap I'm just kidding. I just won't subject my children to the level of ridicule that I had to learn to endure. You know what I'm saying? I think I like them soft. I think I like my kids just a little bit softer than I had to be. Alright, that was our 3,000 grit, ladies and germs. I'm going to give it a couple more runs on that. Let's just fly it. Yeah. Let's give it a little more water and scooch off. Go ahead and drop that that info in the chat if you'd like, KO. I forgot, I was about to tell your origin story with my channel. Is KO saw one of my videos and said I didn't know what the frick I was talking about. And I should be ashamed of myself. Just kidding. It was a very tactful lesson. In reply, like a true gentleman, and taught me new stuff. Like, if you're not willing to work on it, right, a little bit, then why would you buy a cheap blade, more or less, right? Because that's my entire philosophy behind airplanes, is that you should buy them cheap and work on them. And I feel like I was holding these knives to a higher standard than the manufacturer was going to be able to make. Because I get these when they're on sale. You know what I'm saying? So I may not even be getting the cream of the crop from the manufacturers, you know what I'm saying? But If you want to learn how to have a thing, you gotta learn how to take care of the thing. So, once again, where collaboration meets. This ain't sharp yet. Don't. Look at that. This is not sharp yet. That can only mean one thing, y'all. Operator error. Because I know the stones work. It's the technique. Maybe my angle was too sharp. Maybe it was inconsistent. What we're going to do, get sharp on the 400. And then once we are, then we'll move on. See that bevel starting to come. It sounds really dry, says KO. Then let's throw some more water on that joint. Diamond plates I use cost 23 bucks on Amazon. That's what I'm talking about, man. You should drop a link. KO, let me give you a wrench over here, buddy. I think people need to see your page anyway. Give me a second, y'all. I apologize. Alright, KO, you now have the power and authority of moderation. Use it wisely, young Jedi. I think I'm gonna have to be a little more intentional about the curvature of this thing. No disrespect, but there's so many good, inexpensive knives. What makes you choose these? Just tuned in. Love the hammer. Hammerah. What makes me choose these? These are my everyday carries. These are my these Gerbers I've had for probably a couple years now, and I lost them. I lost them individually at different times, and then I bought this one because it was on sale at Harbor Freight, and I got it cheap, and then it got caught in the detent right there, and then it slammed down, cut my finger, and I was like, oh, and I did a video on it, I talked trash, and then loads of people came in to teach me all about knives, and then I went and got this Kershaw which I really like. I don't think I'll be losing it because it is nice and heavy and it's above my ordinary price points. But now I got to work on this. Now I got to work on sharpening my knives so that I will care enough about them to keep them and maybe not lose them as often. But I didn't go out and like, oh, I need a bunch of really cheap knives. I bought all these like as one-ofs. When I bought each of these knives, I didn't have another. And then I found these others, and then this I'm just keeping because why take it back? It's $10 knife. That's better. That's a better cut. That's a better cut. So that's enough to continue refinement. I think we're on the right track. I'm picky and passionate about tool design and machining and hand craftsmanship. If the design I want comes out, I don't care if it's $49 or $350, I'm getting it. Whoa, I feel you. I may be that way about a couple of things. Pocket knives are not one of them. They're just too expendable in my day-to-day life, and I just can't. I can't. All right, we're back on the 1000 grit, y'all. But if you got it and you're passionate about it, now that's a key. You got to do it. This is more necessary, not evil. It's not something I'm against at all. Like, I love having a knife. I need them often. But I'm not overly passionate about blades because these, relatively dull by woodworker and knife enthusiast standards, still do what I need them to do. Now, what they don't do is slice wood and paper. And so, like I said at the beginning of the video, my kind of standard for sharp has changed. And now I do want them to be able to slice paper. I do want them to maintain and carry sharp edges. And even cheap metal can do that if you're willing to put in the time and the effort to get it to do that. So in my world, that's what Sundays are for. Sharpen the knives and oil the chainsaw blade. You know what I mean? Get some general maintenance going. And that way, save time later on when you need the knife. It does its job. It does it well. You don't have to take the time sharpening it while you need it at the same time. You know what I mean? So we're going to try this paper trick again. Because the knife guys love it. All right. But it also is a good litmus to see how sharp the thing is. See how, yeah, it's a little rough. Definitely better, but definitely still not what we would call razor. That's for sure. And that may be the difference, you guys. Some of that may be better knife probably will hold the edge longer. And a better knife may sharpen faster. I don't know that. But I kind of never sharpen these. And I say never, I mean every couple of months maybe. On something I use pretty much every day or so. But if we're going to have them, we're going to take care of them. We're not just going to treat them bad because they're cheap. You know what I mean? Your hobby is the craft, not the tool. Yeah, that's it. Which Kershaw couldn't see, hit it with the strap. I will hit the strap and you also smidge it. That'll be the biggest difference between us. The tool is my hobby. Exactly right. But that, but you know, crossing those great internet waters and got over to your channel and learned a thing or three about another thing or three. When I get some diamond blades in here, and some diamond plates in here, I'm gonna let you know. And then we're gonna see how those do. It's feeling better. It's feeling better. When it's proper sharp, I can only do this once or twice, and then I'm like, oh, start snagging my finger. Alright, so now we're at 1,000. I'm gonna see if we got any burr on now. Just a heads up, diamond plates remove a lot more material a lot quicker, but they last way longer. You're supposed to soak that stone in water for 20 minutes. That stone's been soaking in over water overnight. It's full of water. When it's off camera, it's also sitting in water. So I do appreciate you jumping in to throw us that info. But we got you covered. What I'm doing here, when I sprinkle that water on there like that you're seeing, is I'm just washing off whatever knife residue got left on it from that sharpening. That's what I'm doing. But the stone itself is definitely full of water. I appreciate your concern. Oh, KO Knife says it moves more material with the diamond plates. But I would imagine you have to, I would imagine it's less passes then. I mean, we're getting a decent edge on this thing. A little more stropping. A little more stropping. Drop my wax. Contortionist. Put you back over there to protect me. Mr. says, in the near future, we'll set our knives on a cradle in a small cabinet, and the laser will scan and sharpen to the desired bevel instantly. Yeah. Yeah. I bet you they said in the future, when they'll have stones that they make in a factory, and they'll ship them to you from anywhere in the world, and then you'll have them in 2 days, no matter where you are in the country or the world. Moving forward is moving forward. But you can also enjoy the craftsmanship of stuff, you know? Like, eventually I'm going to be doing some pottery on here. I gotta get me one of them pottery wheels, man. I've been on that since Patrick Swayze and Demi Moore, back when they were hot and he was alive. But when I was a kid, you know, we did some of that. I was at a high school that had that kind of stuff available to us. It really made us aware of a lot of really fun things. And I want to do all of them. KO9 says, do you want to drop 20,000 on that? There's a tool that does that. Not the desired angle, but you can put your knife in it and it comes out sharp. It's amazing. Isn't that crazy? I'll just go with get the thing the next day. Alright, let's try our old paper slicer again. Let's just go the other way and see how that goes. Wait, it's tearing from the perforation, not from the knife. Hold on. Ain't cheated. Ain't doing it. I won't cheat it. It's awful. What is it, my angle? I don't know, man. Don't know. Yeah, it's my angle. I'm thinking this needs to be tighter. Now, one weird thing about me is I am very nearsighted. And with my contact lenses in, I can see normal, but without them, I can see almost on a microscopic level. Not microscopic, but a high level zoom. And I would be able to see this if I pop my lenses out, but then I'll trip on the steps and fall down them on the way out. Let's work it again. It's just what we got to do. Back to the 400. Because until it's sharp on the 1000 grit, there's no point in going further than that, right? The stropping and all that stuff. There's no point in going further if you don't get that out of it. And we're not here to just say, oh no, it didn't work, and walk away. We're here to does it. We're here to does it. Okay. But, while we does it, I'm gonna run over here real quick. Some delicious snacks. Until it's sharp on the 400 grit, don't move on. If it isn't sharp in 20 minutes, stop and watch some videos. The joys of compromising. That's right. Put a black line from a Sharpie on the edge, says Matthew. That's not bad. That's what I do for my plans. It's a good idea. And we know where we're at. You know what I mean? That helps define the issue. This is what the chat and the lives are about. Hit a like for these smart dudes in here teaching me about knives. Alright. Put the chips back so you don't have to hear this. Matthew's opinion, I love your name. I love that. There's one thing we got over here is black Sharpies, bub. Matthew says, you got a burr on both sides with your lowest digress and then work the burr out with the highest grits, making sure to get it all off with the strop. That knife was a pain in the butt for me to sharpen. I am definitely having complications with the curvature. Now look at that. Maybe that's a better backdrop for it. But now, you can definitely see that wasn't very consistent. Let's see if the camera will see you better. Anyways, here's again the other side. I don't know, maybe let me get another Sharpie. Got a freaking low performance Sharpie over here making me look bad. What's the Sharpie for? Yeah. It's not that this guy sucks. Okay. Try it again. Put a nice thick line on it. Now we're cooking with gas over here. This is the reason we suggest higher end knives. Everything with soft steel is harder to sharpen than better steel, says KO Knives. KO Knives says the Gerber paraframe is a soft steel. It's extremely hard for beginners. Mister says, I don't know a ton about steels, but I know some are easier or harder to sharpen. Alan says, my Gerber was hard to get an edge on as well. Look at that. We are learning new stuff in here. Well, here's one thing that's super important to know for me. It's just my opinion. If you start with the knife that you have to sharpen twice as often, and you got it for half the price, right? And you can get all the use out of it, the same use you can get out of it. You just have to sharpen twice as often, right? By the time you graduate to the nicer knife with the better steel, you'll sharpen it in no time. You'll know more, you'll be more comfortable, and just like Dom says, it's never the car, it's always the driver. You know what I'm saying? So, I do have to shout out because for some people who are enthusiasts, they just don't have the bread even to shell out $350 for that for a knife. You know what I'm saying? I'm one of them dudes. I probably would have a nicer knife if I had better money or less kids. Got 3 in college right now. 1 in high school, 2 in high school right now. They're all smart, so they're not going to flunk out to save me any money either. That's the thing. That's the thing. I accidentally taught them how not to ruin their lives. Ugh. Okay. Let's see what this edge looks like now. That's what we've cut. I'm missing down here at the bottom altogether. And that is the start of our cut, right? We're not just stabbing stuff. Generally, if you're slicing, you start at the bottom. So maybe my angle was not consistent enough and intentional enough on the onset. Let's try it now. See if we can do better. I think maybe we can get complacent in things and think, oh, I got this down. Pay less attention to the small details. End up something lesser than what we should have. Alright, it felt good. Should we go this way or should we go this way? Let's go this way. Let's come towards us. This time being intentional about that starting point. I was more concerned with the curve and I neglected the straight edge of the knife. If we look at this side, we'll see I wasn't hitting the edge at all. I was hitting just above the edge. My angle is not steep enough. This way, my angle wasn't steep enough. Let's see if we're correcting that. Now, we got all that black removed. I get that. That's why we buy and sell used. Make 5 passes and look at all the black marks. You're missing the apex. That's why it isn't getting sharp. Exactly right, KO. Hey there, Chili. What's going on? I used to love the Gerber. Love they're from PMW MP600s, my all-time fave multipliers. Traded multipliers for Knipex though. Hmm. Well, missing the apex is probably a big ass problem. So now that we unlocked, we're gonna see how we do. Now that already feels sharp. And if you sharpen knives, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. You know what I mean when it starts to feel sharp and you're like, oh, I don't want to touch that. Your whole, your body reacts differently to it. Let's see. Now this may be sharp, but it is not refined. That's for sure. Let's try it though. It's the best cut we got. Hands down. All this while on this knife, that is the best cut we got. Throw a like in the corner for KO Knives. Go over to his channel and see, you're seeing live at work a guy that knows his stuff, volunteering his information and his time to help us learn more. And I appreciate it. I hope you get some subscribers out of this. I hope I do too. But now that we are sharp on the 400, we're gonna move on because we want it even better. We're going to 1,000 grit now. Now these stones will pick up little debris on top of my stupid desk, but I'll rinse that off and we'll get back to it. Back at it like a Craftmatic. I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I think I sharpen better when I'm not talking. Alright, let's go ahead and move on to the 3,000. See how that goes. Bring it out of the water. It's been waiting. It's been waiting, anticipating. Alright, that's a 3,000 grit. And we're going to flip this over, go to 8,000. See what we got. A little drip drop on it. Hold our angle. don't see Mr. in there. Finger placement as a guide, GIF. Stiff wrists and muscle memory that comes with time. KO confirms that. Practice, practice, and tons of practice. How do you get the right angle consistently? I've always sucked at doing it consistently. That was the question they were answering. And I'm glad to have them here to answer it swell. Because whilst I am such a noob at this, do got to acknowledge concentration and focus is a must. I don't think I'm gonna. We all start somewhere, says KL. Absolutely. You know, that's what I tell people about trades, you know. The day you start, that's when you're that thing. It's not once you've had 1,000 years experience. It's when you commit to learning the thing. And if you commit to learning the thing, you're as legit as they come. Unless, of course, you're a YouTube woodworker, and then you're going to be a scrub, no matter what. That's just the nature of the beast. All right, back to the strap. Dry iron knife. I'm going to set him to the side for just a schmick it. Put some more wax on our strap. Straps really make a difference. Almost everything. Like, this was something I recently learned about. Let's see if we can cut the paper. Pretty good. Great. Let's see. It's the feel of it. It's the feel of it that you're after. No matter that. It's about as good as he's gonna get from me to that. However, we do gotta get him checked out. Make sure those three get the proper business. Meanwhile, cheers to you. I was trying to design a small fixed angle sharpener for RC racing race boat turn fins. I need something for wide chisels. I was thinking a rolling pin style. You don't need a ton of pressure against a strap. Light pressure with the blade is great. Thanks, Kale. Yeah. Mister, I was building something similar to that, or trying to the other day on a live, and realized that what I was building was not going to work for knives because of the grits that I had available to me and the type. I basically had built it to accept sandpaper and not stones or nothing, just sandpaper, which was not going to ultimately work out worth a hoot. Y'all know at some point I'm going to have to go out there and get on that doggone truck again today, and I'm not looking forward to taking everything back apart that I had just put on there. I might go get a guy that works for me sometimes and get him to do it. You don't need a ton of pressure against a strap like pressure. Oh, I read that already. Fixed angle systems aren't super cheap, sadly. They are not. But I've seen them, 100, 130 bucks. I do like them. I mean, the design looks stand out good. The ones with the little telescoping, and it comes down, and your knife is kind of like this, and it comes down and it does that, which is really nice. All right, let's see how these puppies start off before we get to sharpening them. I think I'm gonna do that last that Gerber here, because that's got the serrated blade on it. It's probably gonna be the toughest one to get right. Let's see what this does. So we know this is doing nothing. 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 Don't make me draw one more sword. Let's see where we at. 400 grit is what we start with, because that is what we do. Gerber pear frame, you deserve better, Wes. Sheesh. Sheesh. I don't deserve better. I deserve to not lose my knife, man. Yeah, I do the cheapos. Okay, there's one workshop that is 50 bucks or so. Sandpaper, if held tight, will work great. The sand in the paper is made of corundum, basically sapphires. What? You can do sandpaper to sharpen knives. Says Matthew. Gerber pear frame, you deserve better. Wes says Tim. Tim, right. Listen. Kershaw. Now, let me see. 132 BW. Okay. This was on sale. I got it for 34 bucks. I love it. Love it. Joel said hi, and I say him hi back. Joel, try to workshop field sharpener, says Matthew's opinion. I will look into that. KO9 says, true, I completely forgot the field sharpener even exists, says KO. Stego says, Wes, have you ever used the Opinel or an Italian lockback type? I don't even know what that is. So probably not. Maybe not. Workshop field sharpener. This is the field sharpener that I currently use from Milwaukee, which essentially is great design. You put it in your little finger right there, and you just have at it. You hit the course right there. If it's bad, you just have to get it for a while. Let's see. Let's just see how it works. We're gonna hit it with the course. You'll love it, but sharpening that Kershaw is gonna be the bane of your existence when it comes to sharpening. Kershaw, KO, I heard that from someone immediately when I talked about the steel for it in that short. Yeah. But I can't, it's such a thick, good blade I'll tell you, I'll never be slicing tissue with that knife, but I will probably be opening bags of Quickcrete, opening water heater boxes, and such. Tip is looking good, and we're getting some little, we're on this side, so we're getting some little frags. You can see that. So something's coming off. The reason it's going to be hard is the recurve. My knife snobbery is kicking in, says Tim Reed. I ain't mad at that, man. I'm really not. Like, if we were out here, right, and I was watching somebody, uh, like soup up an F-150, right? I'd be like, what are you doing? It's a work. What are you doing? It's a work truck, right? But that's kind of what this is. This is like a Ford Ranger for me, right? It's gonna get you there and back. It's gonna impress nobody, but it's gonna show up every day, and it's gonna do what you intended on it to do. You know what I mean? It's not gonna do more than that. I'm on the fine side now. It's not gonna do more than that, but it is gonna do what the name says. Tim. Emmett says hi, and I'm saying hi back. Tim says save that knife from that pull-through carbide sharpener. KO9 says Tim Reed, we listen and we judge a little bit. Matthew says no, never. They destroy your knife. Stay Gold says open L are expensive French-made garden knives for farming. Wood handles. I get mine very sharp. Matthew's opinion said it pains me to see you do that. Jump back in on danger time. Woohoo, says Runic. Yeah, I'm getting slaughtered. So I'm doing this to this knife because this is the field sharpener I have. Because Wes is a contractor. He's running around throwing heavy junk in the shop. Like we want razor slices and you know how we get about the planes. Let's see how this thing did. Let's see how it. Let's. I feel like I'm gonna get slammed. Don't embarrass me. All right, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Okay. Back to the 400 grit. Weren't we getting ready to sharpen this one first? Yeah. We're good. We'll get to this because this is gonna be tough. I already know it. But we are gonna do this little cheapo GK24. This is the fishing knife now, because that's all it can be. Matthew, it's a pair frame, nothing extremely expensive at the very least. KO knives a little. I'm trying not to. You can. I really don't mind the commentary. I mean, I know that these are cheap knives. I don't mind that. Also, if the sharpening technique is worth the damn. Also, we're learning. Let me say this differently. I'm learning. A few people who are watching are also learning that maybe everything that y'all knife snobs have been saying is true all along, right? That's what we're learning. I've always heard that's a bad idea on the little sharp. I've been sharpening my dad's hunting knife since I was 8 on 38 now. Romy says, so G24 stands for Gordon Knife 2024, so it's made in 2024. That's funny. I bought it 3 weeks ago. That sounds really dry. It's not. It sounds it. I don't like that sound. But it's also really dull, so it's probably knocking off all the stuff. So if we can sharpen the crappy knives and get them good, and get to one that's worth it, we'll appreciate it better, right? For the knife snobs, the knife snobs, knife snobs, the knife snobs. Totally don't mind some knife snobbery. Not looking bad. Not looking bad. Hit it again. Let's put a little splish splash. I'm taking a bath. Oh man, I'm aging myself. Just kidding, you guys. That's the new young little baby somebody song. That's a new young little baby song coming up with. Yep. Not an old guy. Nope. Not me. Hey, don't judge me for spending $4,000 on knives. That's a me problem. Holy smokes, KO. Woo! They do agree it's better to sharpen the cheaper knives. Mr. Limo or Mrs. Limo, what's up? I think Mr. Limo, right? Am I right? This is tough. Let us see if we get to graduate to the 1,000 grip. Because I'm not going to sharpen excessively. I want to make sure, I want to get some idea of what I need to get right, so I'm not overdoing it either. The last cut was not quite a cut. Let's give it a few more passes here. As all of my new internet friends gasp in disbelief. Now, KO, you were the one that said nothing was wrong with this knife, right? You were like, nothing wrong with that knife. Gotta tune it. This is actually significantly better than when you started. Congratulations. I love that knife. Knife maker from time to time. I will never begrudge someone for spending good money on a blade. However, nobody gets mad when a cheap blade gets lost. Ronak, that's the truth, Ruth. Because I effortlessly make that transition when I lose a cheap knife. I'm like, oh man, I gotta pick up a knife this afternoon. But now, if I've got better, right, I'm gonna end up checking the back of the truck. we're just at a better angle than we were before. Thanks to our suggestions in the chat. Really special shout out to KO. Special shout out to Runic, who is always here, hanging out, looking out for us. Thanks for Matthew. And special shout out to Tim, because he was really instrumental. And Mr. That's who I was looking for. Who really was adding to the conversation in a very positive way. We're going to hit a little bit more water on there and we'll start the 1,000 grit process. And I think that's what these guys mean when they say practice. Because your body will learn to streamline the process if you don't rush it. When I have an apprentice on the work that I do for a living, I always say, I don't want you to go fast, I want you to go well. Speed comes with efficiency. Efficiency comes with time and experience. Not just moving your hands fast. You know what I mean? What steel is the Mini Recon? I have no idea. Oh, Tim says my work knife is a cold steel Mini Recon. I've heard good things about cold steel. I'm very interested in them. That and the Civivi. I got my son, my 16-year-old, a Kershaw for his birthday. But I spent about $100 on the one he's got. I did a review on mine if you were interested, anybody. It's on my shorts. Let's see what we got here. If we got some more sliceability. If we got some more slices. You can tell my parents raised me in the 70s. Here we go. Oh, didn't do it. Still didn't do it. Is it wet still? It's a little wet. Still, it's no excuse. Slice. Alright, that's a good slice. What I'm noticing with this one is it's not consistent. Right, that's perfect. See that little piece hanging right there? It's sharper here than it is here. Doesn't start well, but from that point on, it just. So we're going to put a little bit more attention on it, and we're going to keep working our technique until it gets better. Clutch and Break says it's pure knife-gasm. Hone it, bro. Strap it. And KO says, I have 2 more grits to go. I do. But I got to get it clean on this one first. And before I do, I got on the great sweats today. I can't get the water on my lap. So we got to be concerned. Appreciate y'all jumping in here on this chat with me. Keeping the thing honest. What if y'all weren't here and I was just not working it out? You know what I'm saying? Drop a little more water on there. Just to keep it juicy. Alright, now we're gonna move on from the 1000 grit and we're gonna go ahead and jump on that Andre 3 Thizzle. Ugh. I'm gonna wipe up this old water and make some new right there. Again, giving our attention all the way through the blade. The mistake before was not working from the base of the blade all the way through the top. But we're probably neglecting about a quarter on that other knife until we figured it out. Pulling material. With the stone, maybe we need to settle down on the pressure a little bit. Higher stones are seemingly softer. Flip her over, get a little more water involved. We're going to move on to the 8000 grit. See how that does. Let's see real quick. Whereas if you sharpen a knife edge, it helps show your stroke consistency. Oh, Sharpie it. And Black Palace Music says, peace. KO says, yep, use the Sharpie often as a beginner. It works a ton. Good point, Tim. Double tap for the likes, guys, says Tim. Thanks, KO. I appreciate all y'all in the chat, man. Let me get cleaned up a little bit. Keep this water from running down these stones. Still haven't figured out a good system for that, which is the downfall of the wet stone. It's probably the biggest con. Not con as in, con man, but con as in pros and cons. See that white stone telling us what we're doing? Much better now. Thank you, Mother Whitestone, for teaching us the way. Let's see what we got. Can we slice paper? If I say it like a monster truck rally commercial, I think I'll get more likes. Slice paper, slicey, paper getting sliced. Oh, that was a tear. Paper stabs. Not bad. Poor cheapo. That's as sharp as I'll ever need this knife to be. I'm sure of it. Now, I know, I know, I know. Whew. Gerber. Which I think is a decent. I think is a decent knife. I don't know. I've not had a single complaint about this knife. It's not as snappy, as fidgety a knife as I like. This one has tons of fidgetability. I do like that about this knife. It's very fidgety. This, not so much, but man, it's bulky. It's a good work knife. Maybe that's the classification it should be in, as a work knife. Alright, so immediately, I'm just going to go to work on this Gerber. Hear how scratchy. Ugh. That's because we ain't got no edge. It's rough. Last time I used this knife, I was opening up bags of Quikrete with it. Not kidding. I was just stabbing them bags open. If that smaller version was any indicator, we could buckle up for this one. You can probably hear it. I mean, probably a little bit more aggressive. Da 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 da. Looks like an easier. Whereas a rubber stone holder will collect sluice and keep it from slipping. This looks easier the way you're doing it. That 140 grit rips material off like a bench grinder. I know Unc is gonna get that knife super sharp. Love the build videos. Gotta go. Thanks, Matthew. Have a blessed day. You too, brother. Just hone it and you'll be good. Tim says, oh my eyes. He had to look at this Gerber. The Big Mama Gerber. There's a better one out there, I'm sure, but this one I like. I know you hate it. Also, you don't need to go all the way up to 8,000 grit. You can stop at 1,000 and still have a sharp knife. Agreed, says KO. I read that if you flick the tip like that, you round it off. Flick the tip. You mean off the stone? Or you mean like when I click it over? I'm assuming you mean off the stone. That may be true. I mean, I round off the tips anyway because I do a lot of stabbing. Not people, but stuff. Opening flooring, whatever. So what is like a $300 knife? What's the difference? Like, what are you looking for when you're like, I'm spending the money and I don't care, right? What are you looking for? I'm sure you're looking for blades, for strong metal, right? Certain kind of metal. Let's go ahead and flatten that whilst we're mucking with it at all. Excellent, Smithers. Yeah, so what are you looking at? Like the action of it? I'm sure there's some sort of luxurious mechanics, right? Or is it just about the quality of the processing and how long you hold an edge? Let's see. Gotta go. See you. Clutch and brakes. All right. Talk to you later. Appreciate you. Thanks for stopping through. Your likes and subscribes mean a ton. All right. Mainly the steel, says KO9. Steel material. Tim says handle material. Reputation. In the $300 range, I expect a few things, says KO. Sam K said hi. What's up, Sam? Talking knives while we're sharpening. If you just joined us, I'm on the 400 grit with a Gerber 2-for-1, less than $30 knife that I bought probably 2 years ago. That has been my buddy ever since. Now, I'm going to shock all of you when I say this. My favorite was my Craftsman. Milwaukee made something very similar to it. I lost it, and I haven't been able to find it since. I'm going to slow down. I'm less intentional when I'm being fast. My mom always told me to stop being so doggone fast. Don't feel sharp, not on the tip anyway. I think I'm gonna have to work different parts of this blade as I go. I expect better than the M390 and at least aluminum scales is what KO9 says about his expectation for an expensive knife. Steel recipe, heat treat, hardness level, titanium, extra milling detail time, fit and finish, fine tolerances, better CAD artists, better technical drawings, better machines. That's what Mr. says. And that sounds all very good. Overall, just better. I get that. I'm dragging that front just a little bit longer this time because it didn't feel sharp. Add a little more water. We're getting an education in here today, guys. Tim says Hogue is an American-made, good lock, good steel, great customer service with all kinds of price range. Man, you said a mouthful. Customer service? Oh, you could have started with that. That sells me every time. I love getting good customer service on a product. A company that stands behind a good product, I'll pay more money for sure. For sure. Excellent point, sir. Matt chimes in and says, hi. What's up, Matt? KO says, yep, Hogue knives, WE knives, ProTech, etc. Hogue has the best customer service in my opinion, says KO knives. Was that water or mineral oil you just poured? Mitchell says, water. These whetstones are water. My diamond cuboid is oil. But I hadn't used that in quite some time. I find these a little bit flatter, a little bit easier to learn on, and the results can be quite impressive. We are learning the hazards of using cheap knives. Apparently the sharpening is annoyingly long. I wonder, like, sometimes tradesmen, like, and people who do woodworking, many of them don't like the sanding process. I actually prefer it. Our knife guys this way. Knife enthusiasts with good blades. Do you get the good blades because you don't want to sharpen it? Or do you get the good blades to have the best blades? And the benefit is that you also don't have to sharpen it as often. Cue us in. Meanwhile, I'm probably going to fail at slicing this with this knife. Let's go. I kind of did it. Kind of did it. Goes to a point and it snags on something. See if I can feel it. Can't feel it on that side. Oh! Good enough to make a little slice in the old fingeroo. Didn't get the blood though. So, let's get the tip. This is worth the tip. Let's try her again. Slam. See if we can slice some paper. Okay. Do I carry a fixed blade? No, I never do. That's weird. That's hooking on something. That's a little chip in this blade that I can't see. But it does appear to be sharp. But I can also see where the fabric of that paper got hung. Which suggests more effort on the 400. No, I don't like fixed blades. I got a fairly small frame, and when I carry something as meaty as that on me, it's like this is about as far as I'm willing to go. Because anything else I feel, if I gotta run, if I gotta climb or something like that, I do a lot of stuff like that in my line of work. So if this is on me, I don't feel it. It doesn't get in my way, but also if I drop it, if it unhooks on something, I lose it. I don't know I don't have it until I'm home. So, you know, this I'll notice probably right away. But that's about as heavy as I want in my on my belt or my pocket or whatever. Let's see. Let me catch up with the chat real quick. Kershaw's ETCRKT will send you free parts to replace your broken parts. The only thing is they won't replace for free are the handles and the blade. Oh, that's pretty cool. KO says, I can't stand sanding, and yes, I'd buy better knives so I don't need to sharpen them. And Mr. was asking if I carried the fixed blade. That answer is no. Tim Reed says, one more time sharp. I can put a steep edge on a premium steel. Okay. CRKT is pretty good quality for the price. With what he does, he should carry a fixed blade. Mr. says, "Oh, I love some sanding. I'm a scale modeler, so I love sanding." Oh, absolutely. See, I'm a fine artist at heart. Like I started out that way. I didn't tend to get into houses. I just did as a backup to being a art school student when I was an art school student 1,000 years ago. But there's a merger of the two that just makes my heart sing. And this right here is, also one of those things. Woodworking and learning new stuff. Found out the other day I'm a polymath. No blood, no blood, no blood. Morakev Basic 511 in orange. I never lose it. Oh, that's smart. Plastic kits to laserwood RC, planes, boats, quarter scale to fifth scale. I mean, 1/48 scale to fifth scale. That's awesome. My son is very into the RC planes. He's into the propellers more than he is actual drones. He likes planes with propellers and impellers. Um, in fact, getting him some stuff for his birthday. Tim says CRKT is the brand I have the most of. I probably have 5K in CRKT knives. Great customer service. Oh my God. My old heart trembles at the thought of 5,000 in knives. That's dope. Runic says painting is my gig when I'm not woodworking or smithing or sanding. It's just a part of my life. I feel you. Finishing, sanding, sharpening really will show off your attention to details, in my opinion, Mitchell says. And I agree 100%. I have a few hundred in CRKT, around 2K in Kershaw, though, says KO Knives. Y'all are some real enthusiasts. I'm really lucky to have this level of experience in the chat. We got this knife sharp. We did not get this one sharp yet. We got it close. We're going to hit it a little bit more. We got a process here. We're not going to go with that half effort of paper slicing, which was partial paper tearing. We're going to be honest on this channel. We didn't do it good. We're not going to pretend. Do it well. How about that? Self-correct when we can. Tim Reed says he's got probably 2K in Kershaw. He won a few from other social media. Great customer service also. Wow. Won a few. Man. You gotta be a great you guys have to be like prime customers for them. Somebody knowledgeable and appreciates. Like in my business, I really appreciate a customer who appreciates what I'm doing. Like, there's two types of customers that will tell me to choose everything. One just trusts me infinitely. The other is just lazy. And the lazy one will say, I trust you, go ahead and take care of it. Because they don't want to do the work themselves. They don't want to do the intellectual work themselves of choosing tile and choosing paint and stuff like that. But they do have to live with it. So, it's quite important to have people around who can appreciate what it is that you do pretty close by. Otherwise, flying in the dark. You might get there, but you ain't gonna get there as safe and as fast. Drunk history from Uncle Wes. All right, come on, y'all. Oh, hello from Russia. What's good? Greetings from Russia. Listen, jump up there, hit that like button if you just walked in the door. I appreciate you coming through, but I would appreciate it more if you hit that button. Boop, boop, boop. So we can keep blowing up and get this info out. Sin Pain Poppy says, I hate the little hole in all the spider coat knives, but it's 100% the sharpest knife I've gotten out of the box. Wow. That is a recommendation if I ever heard one. GTA says, hi, what's up? Kershaw has gotta hate me. I order new parts once a month, says KO Knives. Oh, does that mean that they break a lot? How do y'all like spiders, is what Simpane Poppy said. But he says this. KO says spider coat knives are ugly but very comfortable. Spider coat. Great name. Wes the Gnat Slayer. Alright. We're going to get off this 400 grit. We have sliced paper. We're going to go to the 1000 grit. We're going to watch our water drips so we don't get a wet lap. There's no contest. We're on the 1000 grit right now. We're dragging off some metal. I can see it. It's a good thing about these lighter stones. They really do let you see if you're making any impacts at all. Did I say impacts? Impact. Tripping. Get our slurry up out the way. And I know y'all hate this knife. I know you do. I know you do. You got a right to. I'm a cheapo. And you guys are not. But in that world, you're my big brothers. And I appreciate you showing up. Show the kid how to do it right. I really do. Not being facetious when I say that. Oh, let's see. I buy used Kershaws and replace all the parts before selling them. That's so smart. That's so smart. So smart. I sell completely refurbished leaks for $35. I like to modify and sell the cheapies, says Tim Reed. Mitchell says, I remember 20, 30 years ago, I loved the Butterfly blend of Bailey's song, but I have a feeling they've fallen off in recent years. Simpane Poppy says, what's the profit on that, KO? KO says, roughly 40% when someone actually buys them. Simpane Poppy says, a lot of knives and tool brands have fallen in quality relatively recently. KO says, Benchmade is insanely overpriced for what they deliver. Simpane agrees 1,000%. Tim Reed says, yes, sir. Yup. Sounds like we've got a little bit of a consensus in the chat that they are overpriced. Y'all are getting free education. And all it's gonna cost you is a like. It don't even cost you a like. That's just what you can do out of gratitude. But you can just log in and watch it for nothing. But I do appreciate those of you that showed up anyway. Maybe you're driving and you can't reach over and do that. You don't want to cause an accident. I get it. I'm not on vertical. I mean, I'm not on horizontal. I get it. I get it, family. I get it. Just gonna keep hitting this thing with that 1,000 grit until we feel like we got us a sharp blade. Okay. We're gonna check. I might run this thing on the strap real quick and just see. Just see. Try it off real quick. Old school on the back of the calf. Alright. I'm gonna come back the other way with it. Let's see what we can do. See what we can do. All right. More paper out the book. Knife guys waste a lot of paper, man. Save the rainforest, dude. Nice. Nice. It's not bad for old Gerber. Uh-oh. It's not bad. This side is wet, so. So not bad. Not perfect, not bad. Enough for what we want to do with it? Yes. Done. Papa Smurf. What we gonna do with that? Let's see what we got. Benchmade used to buy Belly's own Pacific Cutlery and Benchmade. But yeah, they sold a pair frame. It would be $80. KO, yes they have. Bug out failures was my end on Benchmade. Have prototype and limited release Benchmade because they were my jam. Now they can't put a consistent edge geometry. That's what Tim Reed says. KO says much better, a lot less pressure, works better. About my technique. Mitchell says, hey Wes, I see your Nike shirt. Their slogan came from, not sure of the year, but when I asked if he had any final words, confession, this soon to be executed prisoner told the CEO and chaplain, just do it. Well, Wes does it, so yeah. I guess if there was a trigger to be pulled in here, I'd be the one that yanked it. Okay. That actually wasn't bad. Oh Lord, yeah, whoever made that sharpness tester is a millionaire off tiny pieces of fishing line, says Senpai Poppy. Trust me, don't sharpen that Kershaw. Mitchell says those are fun facts. No, he said let's do it. The CEO changed it to just do it. We are getting info in this piece. Don't sharpen this Kershaw. Now, I don't think the Kershaw can be sharpened with these stones like that. But I'll tell you what's fantastic about this thing that I was not thinking about when I bought it, but this is almost dead flat across the top of there. It's like a razor. I use that to scrape those stupid stickers that they put on wood at the orange store, and it worked fantastic. And I'll tell you what else, which also kind of attracted me to this knife in the very beginning, was that curvature is perfect for sharpening knives. I mean, for sharpening pencils, right? Like, that is good stuff right there. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what you want. You know what I'm saying? That's what you want. Tim Red, I stand corrected. Thank you. KO9 says it can, but it's a massive pain. Mitchell says, I do love my pointless information, but I want it accurate. KO says, Tim, he's about to learn why I despise Tontos. Tim says, Mitchell, I just watched the Mr. Ballin video about, and this is why I have it fresh in my head. Thank you for taking it the right way. I appreciate that. Simply Poppy says, might be a situation for a rod style ceramic or a diamond rod. That's exactly right. I think this is like a kind of an assisted opening a little bit. The assisted closing, like this does take some effort. But, you know, not if you just do it on your pocket, like so. So, yeah. Now, do I try to sharpen it on these square things? I think no. I think what this does indicate is maybe I need a honing rod to do that. Because this is my everyday carry now. And it's sharp right now for what I need. And I'm not going to mess it up. So, to keep from ruining it, I'm going to jump over here. Oh, there's John over there being goofball. I'll go ahead and flip him off. Y'all can dump John right up out of there if you like. In fact, I can put him in timeout. Nah, I'll just get him out of here. Tim says at KO, I now tape of the Tonto and sharpen like two separate edges. Rika says hi. From Indonesia. I don't know why I said it that way. Indonesia. Hi. We were doing some sharpening. And we were getting some great education on sharpening. And having a pretty good time doing it. We got that and that little buddy and his auntie and Uncle Frank, all nice and sharp. So we didn't have to touch Uncle Frank because he's new. And from all indicators, I'm gonna wait till I have to before I have to. Feel me? I appreciate y'all hanging out with me on this sharpening journey. And check out some of the shorts. I'm probably going to build some more stuff tonight. I'll probably record some of it. I'll probably do some of it live while I can. But I do have to go check out that truck and see if I can get that figured out somewhat today. So I can get to work tomorrow and make my dreams come true. Whereas that is a recurve blade. I have a diamond and ceramic rod system I use for those. Smith sells a cheap kit. Appreciate you, man. Mitchell says, I'll catch you later, guys. I'm off to the laundromat. All right, man. Happy trails. And I hope none of your socks escape. Y'all have a great day. Hit that like on your way out. And if you would, yeah, check back in, join. We'll come see you later. Peace and love. Peace, Tim. Thank you for hanging out. Thanks for all that information. KO, again, special thanks to you. Lots of great information. Mitchell, you're always a treat. And I'll see y'all a little bit later. Hit the like.